Hello, dear international bachelor students in mechanical engineering, dear students from abroad. My name is Mathias Liewald. I'm a professor here at the University of Stuttgart. My profession is metal forming. So welcome to this YouTube video clip very briefly. Welcome to my presentation of our very new master study course, which is entitled Material and Production Engineering. MPE is our abbreviation. So first, I would like to, with my following slides later, I would like to present this study course a little bit more in detail to you. But first, let's have a look on this facility. So I do have the opportunity to welcome you here in my own laboratory. So this is only one laboratory of this master study course. In this case, as I said, in metal forming. Around me, as you can see, you will recognize some very interesting metal forming processes coming from the more or less sheet metal forming area or material modeling as well. So it's strongly linked, material modeling and simulation, as well as bulk metal forming. But also other topics will be addressed in this master study course, especially chipping technologies, as you know, boring, drilling, and some others, as well as making or producing components made of ceramics or fibers or porous media, or let's say polymers and plastic, which is done by my colleagues over there at the Institute for Polymer Technology. So let's jump into more details. With the following very short clips, I would like to introduce my colleagues from the chipping chair, as well as from the Institute for Beam Technology, which is laser and other beam sources. And after this, I would like to introduce you to the very, let's say, 20 to 25 slides in more detail regarding the content of the study course. So I would like to introduce all the other modules. So hearing from you, and please enjoy the following presentation. Seeing you. Bye.
Hey there, I'm Taya. I work as a student at the Institute of Machine Tools. We're proud to be part of the Faculty of Engineering Design, Production and Automotive Engineering. And let me tell you, it's pretty awesome here. We offer a wide variety of courses focusing on machine tools and machining that aren't just theory. We're talking about real hands-on experiences in the subjects that will drive tomorrow's production industry. So if you're up for the challenge and ready to get your hands dirty, come join me.
So, returning from our short lab tours together with my colleagues, I like to introduce now the content of our study course, and I want to grasp your maybe most crucial questions today. So therefore, let's jump into your present situation. Your questions of today may be why to choose Stuttgart? And I would like to help you to find some arguments why to come over to Stuttgart, though you may hear some different things or contradicting statements in the newspapers or in the TV. But what I can say to you is that we in fact have a clear booming here, even mobility industry here around here, due to our car makers and very big suppliers such as Bosch, EDAG and others around here. So therefore, second, we do have a huge group of new startups here. which are developing software and AI for AI around here. So let's talk about stage 4 and 5 in self-governing and self-controlling cars, for example. And of course, our international culture here in Stuttgart. A second aspect could be where my master study will lead me to. So of course, coming to Stuttgart, you may raise the question, should I stay in Stuttgart on a long term? Or should I go back to different countries or to return home? So therefore, of course, you may raise your question or may answer your question first, am I more dedicated to design or production? Or I'm more interested in engineering for nature. Let's talk about some windmills or so, or any other subjects in engineering sustainability. Or last but not least, which is the most crucial question from my point of view, how to combine my passion with past exams. So at the end, you have to pass our exam, and how to combine it with what you know until now and what you are mainly interested in. And this could be lasers, that could be some things between physics and chemistry in terms of batteries and accumulators. Or are you more dedicated to design, lightweight design, for example, in terms of using very complex CID applications? Or are you interested in renewable energies or so? There are a huge field of future things you can do to combine your passion with your study, which leads me to the very third, let's say, crucial statement in this slide, choosing my most useful lectures, which I'm going to present to you in the following 30 minutes. So our study course strongly focuses on materials, let's say steel or ceramics or polymers, porous media, so and so and so. So therefore, this is the reason why we took a choice of our plenty of institutes dealing with materials, in this case, 3 major institutes. Then you have to choose some lectures behind, lectures regarding the fundamentals. You additionally to your bachelor competencies and your bachelor capabilities, we just briefly mentioned here the acting principle in physics or in mechanics, mainly in mechanics here, or in engineering, or to understand structures in a different sense. So, which also may lead at the end to your final decision to choose this material and production engineering course here in Stuttgart, which I'm going to explain to you in the next slide. So here we are. As mentioned before, now I'm going to present the content of our new master's program, Mechanical Engineering, which is called Materials and Production Engineering, as already introduced. In the following, I will continue to give you at least 2 or 3 slides of the modules we selected out of the big and huge program of these institutes, in which are involved in this master's program, in the MPE program. So first I would like to talk about 2 or 3 institutes which are more or less strongly linked to the material science, which is the IMWF, which you can see here at the very first point, and second, which is the Institute for Plastics and Polymers, in German Kunststoff, and the third institute also, which is more or less linked to materials. This is the Institute for Manufacturing or Fabrication of Ceramic Components. In the following, you will find the Institute for Metal Forming Technologies, which is called IFU here in a very short form, and the EFW, which is in charge of all these chipping technologies, such as milling, grinding, turning, boring, drilling, and so. The next institute is the Institute for Beam Technology, laser beams and diode light beams and all that kind of energy sources, which they use for material treatment and, let's say, general joining or separating technologies. Further on, I will continue here, colored in red, the Institute for Machine Control, for machine tools on the one hand, but also on all these big plants and systems which has to be controlled in modern production structures. Finally, the Institute for Microintegration, IFM, abbreviated as IFM, for microintegration, microelectronics, and very small, very tiny measurement devices. And last but not least, an institute, the IFF, which is engaged in the field of planning production sequences, layouting new sites and plants, dealing with digitization within production structures in any case. So a very huge, a very broad field of activities in research. So let's go on, let's jump into these topics in detail. As explained before, this is 2 slides from the issued or presented by the Institute for Materials Testing, Material Science and Strength of Materials, IMWF. They are dealing along a very huge scale, a very extended scale of materials, in this case of metals, but also of many other materials, trying to go down to 10 power minus 10 or so, trying to understand the microstructure, the lattice effects, so and so and so. Testing devices, a very huge institute which is active here in Stuttgart since more than 150 years now. So they're dealing with all these issues in continuum mechanics, in evaluating and testing and determining of strength of materials. So a very, very interesting field. And here we do have 2 lectures which provide their modules, their lectures to this master study course. In general, this is the overview of the current research fields, coming down from additive manufacturing or innovative joining technology, but also down to microstructure, as you can see here, which is simulated, which is emulated, and to understand microstructural behavior in a strong link with the testing specimen. Let's go to the next institute, which is about plastics and polymers. They are dealing mainly, since many years, here in Stuttgart as well. They do have 2 sites here downtown in Stuttgart and the other one in Stuttgart-Vaihingen, which is the second part of this university, in 3 research pillars. Materials engineering, which is also a very huge field of new materials and new, let's say, modification of materials to induce different mechanical behavior, for example. They are also strong in processing technology, as you can see, extrusion, injection molding, thermoforming, plus a lot more. And of course, production engineering, which is your major study content, to understand the material behaviors and to design appropriate, or to develop appropriate design of the components, strongly dedicated to the properties of the polymer and of the materials. So this is an overview on their teaching courses, as you can see here. Partly, this is not correct in German language, partly they are given in English language, depending on summer term or winter term. As you can see in the different fields here, as mentioned here, characterization of materials and testing in the field of material engineering or product engineering, strict destructive and non-destructive testing. The processes, the manufacturing processes, basically on the very right hand, are mainly offered in the summer term. And last but not least, we in the faculty, we focus on that more or less very thoroughly. We are also accounting for interdisciplinary program,
which the students have to fulfill. So therefore, we offer practical courses, we offer term papers or different student works and master thesis, of course. So we invite you to take part and to use these opportunities to increase your knowledge and to deepen your knowledge, basically. So let's go to the next institute, which is the institute which deals with a very modern field of research. In this case, dealing with ceramic components and how to fabricate these components in different applications. As you can see here, very short within these pictures. For race applications, for e-bike and motorcycle applications. You can see the brake disc here, holding by these two hands right in the center of the picture. Or some strengthening strategies or strengthening concepts in combination with ceramics by using fibers within their structures. In this case, we as metal formers has been involved in that project as well to produce so-called metal matrix composites, which is a very perspective regarding a lightweight potential in terms of weight to strength. Or antibacterial and bioactive surfaces prosthetics. We do have some recent research projects in that field in manufacturing and fabricating ceramic coatings, just to realize a drug incorporation, a drug consumption after the surgical impact, and to increase the healing process, for example. But these are only examples, so therefore choose your own topic, choose your own focus of your study. But the lectures which are given here may lead to that. This is some further ideas and very early research works regarding new materials compared to conventional materials. As you can see here, MIDs, for example, or machinable ceramics, to find the suitable processing and treatment methodology to produce, for example, such complex gear wheels, as you can see. On to metal forming. This is a slide provided by my institute. So we are dealing with, on the one hand, sheet metal, and on the other hand, as you have heard in my very first presentation, down in the lab, as well as in bulk metal forming. Bulk normally is used in driving and in drive concepts, as you can see in the very small picture, or can producing, which is a crazy market, about billions of components every year, mainly produced in America and EU for beverages in any case, but also for cosmetics. And so complete different market, complete different technologies, highly competitive, as well as the car production and the vehicle production, as you can see with the Mercedes-Benz car. So we do have around here many car makers and very big suppliers, which of course offers to you many possibilities to continue your study and to deepen your knowledge with these companies in terms of students, internships, or collaborations with your students' work, which is allowed here, together between industry and institutes. So, and we are dealing in some cases to some extent with very new technology, which is the hydrogen fuel cell production. So to produce these lamellas is a very huge task, a very tricky task to understand, to stamp and to form these components on the one hand, but also to understand the springback. As you might know, this is a very thin foil, down to 0.1 millimeters thickness. So we reserve a high amount of springback and undesired deflections, basically. So these are very worse in terms of stapling these lamellas to the entire fuel cell. So we are together with some fuel cell manufacturers around here, or the electrical engine, basically. The wire drawing, the copper wire is drawn. Normally we are producing the shafts as hollow, as you can see, which is a very new development here, or some other component of this electrical engine, such as the rotor or the stator. Turning to the lectures which are taught in this part of in the field of metal forming, in this case with this slide, I will give an overview on the lectures which are included in this master study course. So first, there are fundamentals and modeling. You will be explained, or you will be made familiar with a very fundamental technologies in sheet metal as well as in bulk. And the process, the numerical process simulation, mainly based on finite element, I must say, are crucial in our business. So therefore, there's one lecture about that. Selected topics in metal forming regarding sustainability. So sustainability, CO2 emissions becomes a very important issue here in Europe, and especially in Germany due to new regulations. So therefore, of course, we will deal with that and try to develop new processes. Digitization is one of the research topics, and also added to the lectures you can enjoy in this field. So with the fields 2 and 3, which are more complex issues in sheet metal forming, car bodies, for example, the new car bodies for the electric-driven cars, e-mobility is important, or bulk metal forming, which is hot and cold at this institute. So therefore, we do have very special lectures. The next institute, very important, oriented and associated with production technologies, which is reasonable. Therefore, we choose the name Material and Production Engineering, is the Institute for Machine Tools. They are dealing with the design of new machine tools, as you can see here in these very small pictures on the one hand, but also with particular and very specific technologies. A very new trend is to build up, to generate structures, as you can see here with the additive manufacturing picture, but also to reduce or to subtract material, as you can see here, by the milling or boring process or drilling process. This is a portion of a workpiece which was previously additive manufactured. So we can apply material to that particular area of the workpiece, but also we can reduce this and just shape new dimensions and new functions into the part. With the next slide, again, I would like to give you an overview on these lectures are given. The core concept is machine tools, as I told you, and entire production systems, which is not only one machine, but also a sequence up to big plants producing, let's say, for example, gearboxes, gear shafts, gear wheels, just to complete the complete gearbox, for example. And complementary subjects, as you can see here, which is relevant for your study. So we indicated the CTS numbers and the ETS points here. You can enjoy with these lectures or modules in terms of fundamentals or special issues in design or special issues in particular processing technologies. The third institute is explained in the next slide, which is the IFSV. As I told you in my overview, this is our colleague Thomas Graf. Thomas is dealing with laser applications and he subdivided his complete research work in 3 major pillars. The pillar 1 is laser development and optics for you. That means how to design new, let's say, apparatus or new devices in beam shaping and beam diagnostic, or to lead the beam through fibers and optics, and to understand the treatment by the laser itself. Second pillar is the system engineering, by Tobias Meinold. He is dealing with beam shaping. And as you can see in the very small picture in between, they are dealing with remote welding. You can see here a car door, inner door of a vehicle, which is welded by distance, let's say 50 or 100 centimeter different distance, to join some reinforcement in this sheet metal component, or to join the inner door with the outer skin of the door. The third color or the third column he's working in is Christian. Christian is dealing with particular, let's say, processing technologies, as you can see here, ablation, drilling, or structuring of surfaces or structures in general. A very interesting, practical-oriented field. So they offered, of course, also very interesting lectures in that field. The fourth institute I'm going to institute is the Institute for Control Engineering and Machine Tools and Manufacturing Units. A very prospective, a very agile, a very fast-growing institute, as you might imagine, because there are different fields of activity in that field, which is engineering, which is in simulation, and which is communication. All the protocols and the new developments in exchanging information between cyber-physical systems, the bus systems, or 4G or 5G technology, and all that stuff. So there are a lot of things which, of course, you can catch up in your modules, in your lectures, and to ask the lecturers about the recent developments over there. And of course, you will learn the fundamentals, which are more or less mechatronical systems, or what is important to know about drive controls and machine engineering, or let's say architectures of controls. As I said or mentioned, Alexander Fell, he is the guy depicted above, which is my colleague in that institute. He asked, or he applied for several lectures, as you can see here. So they do offer a lot of modules and a lot of lectures during the winter term as well as during the summer term. So a very, very interesting field, also applied with control architectures, control systems, of course, a lot of software and programming up to machine learning in any sense. The fifth institute, which is integrated into the production, let's say, side of the coin of this study course, is the Institute for Microintegration. And looking around these very small icons and very small pictures gives you a brief idea, just a clue, what they are dealing with in terms of microtechnology, developing very small devices, very small sensors, which we do need in production, but also in products, let's say in consumer goods or so, and very fast acting measuring devices. So therefore, they just listed here on the right-hand side of their slide the topics of the modules. You can enjoy etching technologies, surface micromechanics, bulk micromechanics, a very future field, let's say that way, in production as well. So, as you all know, the second slide is dedicated to the lectures. Also, they will teach you in the foundations in micro and microsystems technology, which is given by our colleague Andre Zimmermann. He's teaching the fundamentals, more or less, you should know, in physics, in chemistry, in mechanics, which is a very, very fundamental lecture. And then you can choose between different directions, which is electronic components, which is assembly, which is fluidic microsystems or optical microsystems. So he also offers a wide range of lectures, so that you can strengthen your focus or strengthen your capabilities in that field as well. The very last institute I would like to briefly introduce, let's say, is the Institute for Industrial Manufacturing and Management. which is strategy and planning, as you can see here in the block, in the gray block on the left-hand side. Factory planning, order management, and the strategies for development and manufacturing, basically, which are taught by my colleague Thomas. Thomas is also coming from industry, so he's teaching these lectures with 6 ECTS, and his co-workers, which are group leaders or so on, are going in more detail. So they subdivided the huge field of factory planning, factory organization into lectures in factory planning 1 and 2. A focus of this institute is the quality management, how to measure, how to evaluate the quality, and how to assure quality of products and production and services in general on a long term. So this is the only institute which deal here in Stuttgart, which deal with production planning, production management, and the digital transformation from more or less handcraft to digital processes and sequential processes up to new trends in high-end enterprises. They are still in contact with many companies from industry, so their lectures are really practice-oriented, I can say. This gives you an overview on that, key modules and additional modules. Thomas, which is here mentioned on the very left-hand side in the upper row, in the upper line, knowledge and information management in production, which is a very important issue today. Life cycle assessment, IT systems, sustainability in general. And as I mentioned, factory planning 1 and 2 is given by one of his co-workers. Leadership, quality management, as mentioned by me. So therefore, some of them are evaluated with 6 ECTS, some of them only with 3 ECTS. So therefore, you can choose by yourself. One quick hint, you can see in the lower line here, my colleague, Professor Marco Huber. He's a HR guy, and he is offering his lectures in our program since 2 or 3 years. So a very, very challenging lecture. And here, really an expert in AI. He comes from different companies, and now he is teaching at this university very new things. He's with Fraunhofer as well. So this is a very fast-growing area in this field. I could really recommend his lectures. He is an excellent lecturer. And Dr. Mia in the Foundation in Biointelligent Production, which is a very, very new trend. So summarizing the MPE study course, here you can see the institutes as presented in the same order. I started with materials, 3 institutes with materials, and just 6, let's say 6 more or less strongly linked with production technology. And I mentioned my colleagues over there. So page 19 is just for you to get a clue what I told you more or less in detail, and which research topics and teaching topics the institutes are involved in. But now let's have a look more thoroughly into the study course, into the study plan. We prepared this circle here just to give you an overview, and let's start with, let's say, the specialization subject 1, which gives you 18 ECTS. In total, at the end, with your master study here in Stuttgart, you will get, according to other universities as well, 100 ECTS in total. And they are subdivided here in 2 specialization subjects, 1 and 2, which both delivers 18 ECTS. Depicted in gray and in black, as you can see here. 3 further modules are offered to you you have to choose each module per group, or one module per group, as mentioned here, which also delivers 18 ECTS to you. So you have to choose between the group Materials and Strength, Production Technology 1, or Material and Production Technology 2. An easy choice. We want to make it too complicated, but this SA, which is indicated here in blue, specialized area, are just an add-on on the topics and on the courses you choose in the specialization area. A very short contribution is given by the key competences, completely different from your study. You can choose, let's say, economics or strategy, or you can choose, let's say, some special things in programming, or you can deepen your knowledge in AI or so. So there are different choices and opportunities in KC, in key competencies. The same idea the same idea more or less to the specialized areas. This is together with the key competences 18 plus 6 and 24 points ECTS grades for you to choose your, or to deepen your specific knowledge, to find your special knowledge or passion maybe in that field. A very new block, a very new component to this study are the elective modules in the WPT block. On the one hand, you can do a 15 weeks internship, as I told you, with Porsche, with Audi, or Mercedes-Benz here around Stuttgart. Or, if you like, you can enjoy some lectures. These lectures, of course, are also evaluated, and you have to pass an exam in IT or some specialized areas you can choose of. So this is a compromise between some students which are keen to learn more practical things. They want to look into some processes and organizational issues in the company. We offer, of course, or they have to look for their own contract with the company. We are supporting you in this field, of course, but at the end you have to work there for 15 weeks for an internship, or you can enjoy, as mentioned, these lectures. Finally, we do have a kind of student works or term thesis, which gives additional 15 ECTS, around 450 hours. Normally, our students here select this thesis or the topic of this thesis in parallel to the lectures they enjoy. That means 450 hours is within 6 months, a 3 months work. So your workload is by 50%. So many students try to combine, to overlay this term thesis work with their regular term to listen to the lectures. And last but not least, within 6 months, you have to prepare your master thesis, sometimes with a company, sometimes with some local, let's say, small and medium entities, or with the big players around here, Mercedes-Benz or Porsche or so. So therefore, there are a lot of choices to finalize your study, which is at the end gives 120 ECTS. With the following slides, I will give you a brief overview how the ECTS are relevant, and where you can get some additional information, as you can see in the HTTPS link just below the slide. The specialization subject consists of 4 components, 2 modules with 6 ECTS and 2 modules with 3 ECTS. You can see here the specialized area, as I told to you, colored in blue, materials and their strength, production technology and material technology and production technology, Each gives 6 ECTS in the master program, and this is an overview on the key competencies related to your study or some interdisciplinary competencies. Just to have a, let's say, look around or look ahead or so in the field of law, economics, or politics. So at the end, you need additional 6 ECTS, which are normally linked with a lecture in that field. The internship I explained already, or you can choose the 3 lectures, which is completely new in our study plan to give the students more flexibility time-wise and to give the students more, let's say, perspectives to continue as quick as they can their study here in Germany. With this one of the very last slides, I'm going to present the generalized structure of our master study course, which summarizes my previous slides of the first or second semester. In German, we say semester, which is the same as using the expression term. I explained to you just briefly the specialized area 1 and 2 and 3. We joined, formerly this was also separated into 3 and 4, so we joined it to one big specialized area, which gives you the opportunity to choose more modules, to choose more topics in detail. In both semesters, you have to join the lectures regarding your key competencies you've chosen from these groups, as I mentioned before. And additionally to that, which gives you your timetable, gives you enough time for that, the specialization subject 1 and 2. The third semester is subdivided more or less in 2 parts. The part 1 is elective modules, internship or courses. So therefore we use this two colors, let's say that way, between blue and pink, which gives you the 15 ECTS, and a term thesis, which is a pure work in 3 months, and if you are studying in parallel, you may need around 6 months, so which gives us you a workload of about 50%. And the master thesis, as you know, gives you 30 ECTS, which normally lasts for 6 months. 2 gentlemen, since many years, are in charge of that. These are the course advisors. Jonathan, you can reach by this email or by telephone, of course. He is free for you and will take care of your questions, your maybe questions to the study on the one hand, but also to come over to Germany, how to find a flat here, and regarding the distances between both parts of the university and your flat. And of course, Michael Seidenfuß is a material specialist. He is very much experienced in organizing your study course and which modules should be more or less appropriate to what. So he is very experienced in that. So at the end, we are looking forward to meet you in person at our introduction event, right at the beginning of the next term. You must know, we are, if you are interested, please ask us or get in contact with us. We are inviting you to an introduction event, just to make you familiar with all these details regarding this master course. This is a slide we have to fulfill together with you to give all the authorities here at the university on the one hand, but also to your lecturers, to the total of the lecturers, an overview what you are going to study and in which field you are going to combine, and all that stuff, which is called in German Übersichtsplan. Our Christine is in charge of general topics and general questions regarding mechanical engineering, how to come to Germany, how to get some bachelor approvals and bachelor questions right at the end, when it makes sense to come over, with which degree, and all that stuff. So she's in charge for more general questions. Some of them we put to the internet in the FAQ slot, as you can see here, but feel free to contact her in any case, to write her an email. So with this, I would like to say, first of all, see you again. Don't want to say goodbye to you, but I want to express I want to see you again. And please notice the next application terminates on July 15th. So I hope you enjoyed this very short presentation on our master's study course, and my personal advice or recommendation to you is make the best of your master's study. You have only one, and take some time and apply here right now in Stuttgart. So seeing you again and hearing from you. Goodbye.